Howdy all, Nimby here. Gonna do up some more stimulators today. Hey David, good to have you in, man. Just getting my stream set up here. Hey, we got Muddy in too, good to have you in, Muddy. Okay, so we want to start this in about third in, where our thorax is going to continue. We did these up yesterday. I need to do up a few more to finish that little box up, so we're just going to finish that up first. A nice big, somewhat colorful, messy fly, so right up David's alley. Now we're tying it on a size 6 long shank Aberdeen hook today. And first things first, we'll get the tail tied in. Tail is going to be mule deer body hair. I think this is actually mule deer belly hair, to be honest with you. Body hairs are normally quite a bit shorter, so I'm guessing this is probably from the belly. Yeah, I don't think it's just the fishermen though. The fish seem to like it too. It's probably why it's become so popular. And there's many similar patterns like the Folk and other ones that are kind of predated it and afterwards too that people have like adjusted that work just as well. And they all have that, like you said, it's kind of like a magnetic personality that just draws people towards it. I made myself a little tool rack. I've been meaning to do that for a while. I finally did. But I keep forgetting that I have it there, so I keep putting my tools off on my bench where I normally put them. But I'm trying to remember that I have it there. There we go. So we're going to clean that out. Just a little bit like less turning left and right every time I have to put a tool down. In theory it should help, but I'll have to, my muscle memory will have to change. So we'll get all that junk out of there. Just cleaning out all the under fur here. They make these metal combs in different styles. Most of the time they're sold as beard combs. But they do work a lot better than the plastic ones for cleaning out deer hair because they don't cause a lot more static to show up in the hair. So you can really kind of clean it out without worrying about it. So that's kind of what we're looking for. We're looking for about 1/8 of a pencil for the tail. And we're going to lose some when we clean it out and stack it like that. So you want it to be roughly about, when it's flattened out, about the thickness of your gap. I like a pretty thick tail on mine. One, it helps to float it, gives it a little bit more oomph in the water. If you're buying them in the shops, you're probably going to find the tails are going to be a lot thinner. I think it's a little bit chopped up to, one, personal preference, and two, just less materials. Cheaper to make the flies when you're making them by the dozens. Okay, I'll get that tapped down. Pop that out. There we go, all lined up nice and pretty. Got a couple fluffs sticking down there. Grab all those tips. Hopefully you two are having a good morning. We're gonna get this. You crush it kind of like you would a. I know not everyone has snow, especially David, but the best analogy I have for it is like a snowball. We're gonna pull off. There's some broken tips here. We're gonna get rid of those. I like to be a little more mindful of the broken tips on the tail because they're a little more pronounced. Doesn't matter as much for the wing, but I like to try and get rid of those out of the tail. And I can normally do that with my fingernails. If you're having trouble with that part, feel free to use some tweezers or ignore it altogether. Won't hurt nothing. Again, don't worry about it because we were going to thin this out a little bit as it is. Now, this one actually had a lot more broken tips on it than the last one. But every time you pull some fur or hair out of off a hide like that, everyone's going to be different because it's from a natural animal. And every spot's going to have its own little quirks and damages. There we go. That's probably good enough for our intents and purposes. Really? Dude. Yeah, I definitely don't have to worry about that. I've read about it though. Are they more like kind of like light like pumice when they come down like that, or are they actually hard like hail, like they're gonna do damage to things? Well, I guess even pumice rocks would probably do damage to things. That is totally cool though. Well, not cool in a it sucks to be you in destruction kind of cool, but it's an interesting thing of Mother Nature, that's for sure. Yeah, there is a good bit of damaged ones in this stack. I apologize, it's taking me a minute. Cool, okay. Will they still like cause damage, say like windshields or something, or is it just kind of bounce off everything? No, it's all good. We knew what you meant. Okay, so we want this to be just a little bit past the gap. So you can see there the tips are hanging down past the gap, so that's a really good height there. Or length in this case. I'm going to move that forward. So we got our length measured off from our tie-in point. And we're going to bring that up. Got a couple loose ones here. I'm going to loosen out. There we go. I'm going to get rid of most of that anyway, so don't matter any. Bringing our thread up, we're going to trap it between our fingers so we got a loose wrap. You can see it's nice and loose there. Now bring that back underneath. Most important part is we get it back under where we started, which is going to be right by the barb on the hook there. You can see it hanging down. So as long as we got that good, we should be good. We'll bring this down, and just as it starts to, we're keeping it together like we would a quill wing. And just as it starts to flare the top, you can see it's starting to flare there, so we know we're good. We're not going to put any more. Oh, I never thought about that. And yeah, it's like because it is silica, it's not good for your lungs and all sorts of other stuff. It's super abrasive. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that, man. That's super interesting. I mean, unless you're in Hawaii, you're probably never going to even experience that, I wouldn't think. I mean, there's probably some other places around the, say like Thailand or other places where they do have more active volcanoes. Maybe some places in Japan as well, but they've been kind of more dormant for a long time. Probably not a lot you can do about that yourself, though, eh? Just like you said, clean up after. Okay, I'm going to very lightly wrap this body here, and this will slowly pin it down. And I just want to avoid it twisting more than I want to. I'm not too worried about it flaring like that, although it's easier to do if it's not, but I don't want it to twist around the shank. So I just want to pin it in place lightly like this. And just wait until it's ready to do its thing. Don't rush it any. If you're going too fast and too hard on it, you can see when I tighten my thread, it wants to twist a bit. See how it's twisting? Not so much the flaring, but you see how it's turning? It wants to follow the rotation of the thread. We want to avoid that a bit, or it's going to cause our tail to also rotate. You can fix it with your fingers like that. It's not a really big deal, but we do want to avoid that rotation. I want to keep that tension on there, fix the rotation. Yep. I need a little bit more thread here, so I don't want to pull on it too much. So once you get it up to our tie-in point, which is right about, this is close enough, but where we started our thread tie-in, just going to leave the tension of the bobbin on it and fix that twist again. There. Man, that hook's sharp. Just caught myself. Once you got that in there and the twist is gone, now my tension's off here. I'm going to go backwards and just have about medium wraps. If you get it tied in really good at the first there, you can start going back with heavy wraps right away. But in this case, I didn't get it as well as I would have liked to. So we're going to go back with medium, back again, and that'll tie it down enough that now I can let go here. You see we got a nice, beautiful fan tail, and what I'm looking for is I want that tail to be sitting on top of the shank. There's one or two little fibers that are kind of doing their own thing there, but that's perfectly fine. You can nip those off after. You can see it's on top of the shank and it's flared out on either side, so very similar to how you tie in a quill wing. That's the way I like to do mine. You can have them a little bit more tubular and coming out the back, but the key is you want them on top of the hook shank, so that you're not adding too much extra fluff back here. What can happen is if your tail's too fluffy and it drops down too low, like if you let that sink into your shank as you're tying it on, which you can do, but if you get too low, so like about here, about halfway down your bend, it'll lower the amount that the fish has room here to actually hook themselves and get in on that bend of the hook shank there. And if that happens, you'll get a lot less hookups. It'll be a lot harder. So this one that's actually sticking out the side here is actually a broken piece that we were trying to clear off before. Hey, wee man, good to have you, and Yoshi, you too, man. Okay, so yabbering quite a bit about tying that tail in. So now we're gonna, this isn't actually finished whatsoever. We only got medium wraps, so you can see I can easily move that tail, not trying to too much, just to show you. You can see how loose the tail is, because we haven't actually torqued it down yet. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna bring this up. I like to do this while it's loose because it gives me a little bit more flexibility to fix anything if it goes sideways. And we're gonna bring this up. Try to anyway. We're gonna bring it up. Very, very, very light tension on it because I can move that. You can see there where we just left our thread, where we tied our thread in originally. It's right here. That's where we want to clip it off. So I'm gonna lay my scissors in there right at that point. Let it fall down. Grab the top and just cut it off. Now, if you're tying other flies, you can save this end piece that we've cut off here, and you can use that for like muddler heads or all sorts of different things. I like to keep mine in a little film container. Yeah, I know it's showing my age, an actual film container from the 1900s. And I'll just stick them all in there, and you can stack those after. It doesn't take much. You don't need to stack them pretty because you're going to be puffing a fly up with it, right? So you just want to get them somewhat stacked, and then you can make your little muddler heads or all sorts of different things where you need a little bit of deer belly hair, because you're only going to get this softer belly hair to flare. And there's, you can just toss it out, but if you have it already, why not keep it? And it's a little more messy to work with than grabbing some fresh stuff, but If you're doing it the other way and grabbing fresh stuff for those flies, then you're throwing the tips away. Hey, there you go. I love nymphs. Nymphs are my favorite. So what I'm doing here, after I get those tips tied in, I'm going to be tying back towards this tail. I'm going to hold the tail now so it doesn't move around. And I'm going to do like heavy pressure. And you'll see that the old thread that I had tied down will get loose. But this will bind it in so that it is not going to spin or go nowhere. And it'll look a little bit on the ugly side, but it's all going to get covered up anyway, so it's all good. This will bind it down. There we go. And we still got that beautiful tail, just the right amount of poof on it. And it's absolutely going nowhere now that it's bound in like that. Now I can't, if I come in and try to adjust it at all, the tail's not going to move other than the hook moving. It's right bound in. One thing you can do that a lot of people do on these and similar flies is they'll put a little bit of super glue or head cement or whatnot along the hook shank right after they put in their thread base, the first one. I don't like to do that because it soaks up into the hair, and even though you're completely covering that hair, it can be really, oh, this is one of my favorite uni colors. It's rust brown. A lot of times I'll call it burnt orange, but the old labeling used to say burnt orange, but the new labeling says rust brown, and it's a 6/0. Yeah, the old stuff from the 80s used to say burnt orange on it. So if we find some old thread, that'd be cool. It might be a little rotty by that point, but... Okay, so we got the tail tied in. Now we're going to do the body. And for the body, we're doing this lovely marigold. Let's see if I got any pieces left here. I do. So enough for the 2 flies we're going to be doing. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to be tying in the marigold. This is a type of acrylic yarn. It normally comes in a 3 or 4 strand. These are 4 strand, but they're for like punch rugs, so they're incredibly durable. Not necessarily strong, like tensile strength strong, but like as far as abrasion goes, these will hold up to some crazy stuff before they start abrading. So it's great for a body like this. It's going to take a lot of damage. And it's pretty common for people to dub these bodies. Yeah, it's wonderful. I got some camel down in my stack there too. Is this camel right here? Yeah, there you go. Yep, there's camel. It's wonderful for nymphs and that kind of thing. Anything brown. Dragonflies, pheasant tails. This one I like using for my more attractor pattern. This kind of thing that we're doing right now. I had a piece of copper. Okay, so we're gonna use, you want to use a soft type copper. In this case, I just have like a hand length of this, but I'll show you the spool here. So let me get it dug out. So it's a soft natural copper. This one is made by Uni as well. You can tell I like Uni stuff. Made in Canada, ironically. They don't sell this anymore, so it's the only spool I got left. You can tell it's old and it's been beat up a lot, but this is the exact same, as far as I can tell anyway. That's the exact same copper that you find inside either high quality headphones or telephone line. If you have old telephone wire, like the type you'd bury or the type you come off your house, like you used to get like in Radio Shack, like the RCA ones that have 4 lines inside them. It's the same copper and it's not wound together. They're all separate, so you can cut them apart real easy and you can get the same stuff. But it has the same temperament to it because you want it to be flexible so it doesn't work harden real easily. Hey, Muddy. Hey, Rob. Good to have you in, man. You need to give me a head up when you do your next live. so I can get the time right this time. I apologize for that, man. I thought my brain was saying Pacific Standard Time, and it was Eastern. I should have known better, but you know, that's what happens. Okay, I'm just gonna flatten this out with my nail for that first wrap here. Maybe I should do it this way. 1 second. I just want it to be nice and flat for that first wrap, so I'm not putting any tension on by the tail there. Hey, Doug, thanks, mate. Hey, there we go. We got our little goal done today. Thanks for getting our goal done, Doug. Appreciate that, mate. Me and my family thoroughly appreciate any monetary support for the channel. You guys are all awesome. I know you all work hard for your bones. There you go. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everyone, for thanking him. I do really appreciate it, Doug. Thank you kindly, man. Yay! Yeah, they did seem to push out a little update in the last couple days here. I did notice that some features were working a little better, so maybe that's what helped your chat to come back. They pushed some different monetization updates for creators this week, and I noticed that my creator studio seemed to be working a little better, so hopefully they fixed a few of those buggies. Okay, just gonna tie this off on my side here. Okay, we're leaving that copper wire back. Like I was saying, since they don't make that anymore with Uni, the new Uni stuff is... Do I have some here? I might have some here. Well, I don't have Uni here, but I do have UTC Ultra Wire. The temper on this stuff is so much harder than the temper on that soft wire. Like, it comes off like a spring coil. Like, if you're not careful unwinding this, boing, like it just unravels. And I really like the soft copper where it doesn't have, it's annealed differently. It's really soft. Especially for chasing these, chasing the hackle feather like we're going to do. Not only does it bite into the hackle nicer, but it really forms nicely around your fly body. It doesn't have a memory to it. But I do need to do some videos on how to get that kind of wire, since they don't make it anymore. There's, like I said, headphones and USB cables, and certain things still use that type of annealed wire for flexibility. Okay, so now we're going to tie in our red hackle here. Got some nice red hackle. This is Rise Form from Magpie Materials. If you want some good hackle that's not going to break your bank, I've been really happy with that stuff. And Stefan's a really good guy. I'm not affiliated with him whatsoever, and I've only spoken, or not spoken, but texted and messaged him a couple times while making some orders, but he is a really stand-up guy. He really enjoys traditional flies and quality materials, so if you're in the United States of America, I know he ships international too, but you know, with all the shipping stuff, it's probably easier if you're living there. We're gonna strip off that much, so I got a good little raka sticking out there, and I'm going to pull off a little more off the top. Just enough for like one wrap there. Got one kind of damaged fiber. 1 second. But I know he's got some new cow elk. He's always trying to get new material in. I've been really happy with his whitetail that I got from him for my birthday. Okay, I'm just going to bind this in here. I want to keep this top part right here a little flat because that's where we're going to be starting our wing off, and I need to bind in right there. I'm going to be bringing this back. You can see I'll turn it sideways so you can see it a little better. And I'm going to be pulling it back and just pressing it with my finger just gently. You'll feel it. If you push too hard, you can break it, so you do have to be careful. But you'll feel it pushing back. And when you get it right, it'll stick up 90 degrees like that. And it'll make your first wrap so much easier for you. Once you do that a while, then you'll feel it. It'll feel right and it won't feel weird. You'll probably break a few before you get it quite right, but not a big deal. You can always just strip some off, tie it back in. Okay, so I'm gonna get one full wrap right around the top there. Now I'm gonna be walking this along, and I want to have my separations about a bodkin width. And I should have my little hackle plier attached just for safety. These red ones are a little on the slippy side for fingers. Just in case I drop it. But the key here is really just keeping that. As I say that, I let go of my tension and drop my spacing. There we go. Key here is just trying to keep that spacing nice and even all the way back. You want that yellow to shine through. You don't want them too close together. But you also want a nice... Hey, cavefish! How's it going, man? Say hi to Dad for me. Ha! Yeah, I know those, like, I don't have too many patterns that I tie with those. My rooster has a lot of feathers that are that coloration with that kind of pearlescent. I know what you're talking about. It's like a green, but it's on the black feathers. Almost like you get with like a peacock, but not quite right. Okay, so now I'm going to be counter wrapping. So we're wrapping the opposite direction that we wrap the hackle with our copper wire, and just going in between the hackle wraps. And a lot of times if you just wiggle it a little bit as you're going along, you'll miss the majority of those fibers. Not something you need to pay a huge amount of attention to, so don't worry too much about it. This will add a tremendous amount more durability to the fly, because if any of your hackle breaks on a sharp trout tooth, this will hold it in place. It adds a little bit of weight to the fly as well, but that's kind of marginal. There we go. Okay, I like to get one full wrap on the other side of this just to hold it in. There we go. Now, that's my problem with stickers. I used to stick them on my motorbike, but I'm always hoard them until I find that perfect place to stick them, you know? Always feel like there's got to be a good place to put this. I do like my stickers though. Okay, just doing a couple wraps on this guy. So now I'm going to hold my tension. I'll turn this up so you guys can see it a little better. I'll be holding my tension. There we go. On my thread. It doesn't really matter the direction. I've got the fly turned, so normally I'd be holding it sideways, but I'm holding it down. You just want good tension on it. And we want to take the wire bend it the opposite direction that we came from, bend it back. Opposite direction, bend it back. Opposite direction, bend it back. 2 or 3 times is normally enough. It takes a little bit more with this softer wire than it does with the other stuff, and then just helicopter, and it'll come right off. And it'll give you a perfect clean break, as close as it's going to be to your thread. And if you do it right, you shouldn't feel any burr whatsoever. If you cut it off, you're going to end up with a burr, and that can cut your thread. I'm just going to add a little bit more thread here just to cover that. There's a little bit of a pop up there from where the wire came through. You can see it on top there. That should take care of it. Okay, and we're just going to add some thread all the way up here, and this is where we're going to start tying in our next section. But not before we clip off that tail piece, or the hackle here. Might even have enough. I don't have enough in there for the next fly, but I'll have enough in there for a fly, so I'll save that. And same thing, we just want to pull back a little bit. I'm just going to have these out so they're just open. So we get in camera here. Just open a little V. Get that in there. And then as I pull back, that'll cut it right off. So I'm not actually closing the scissors, just using the sharpness of the scissors to pop it off. Hey, you was good to have you in, mate. Beauty. So there we go. We got a nice, like I said, this is a David fly. As close to a David fly as I get. I do need to tie some of. I do need to get into some saltwater, big bait fish stuff. Because I enjoy tying them. I just don't do it as often as I'd like to. Because, well, I don't live by the ocean. But this is one of those nice, kind of colorful, big, poofy flies. That reminds me a lot of David's style of tying. I'm definitely not a master of that stuff like he is, though. But it's still fun. So for this one, we're going to go with the whitetail top. Hey, thanks for the sub, mate. We'll call you high fly tying. Oh, sorry, high fly tree guy. My bad, man. Okay, so we're going to be using this whitetail, and the one thing I like about the whitetail is it has this really nice straw coloration to it, which is really similar to elk, which is the original fur to be using for this, but we're using whitetail instead of elk. The elk doesn't flare as much generally. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, I bet it would work, you know. I bet you'd actually have some good luck with that. Thanks, I appreciate that, mate. We're here almost every day, live tying. Yeah, I'm gonna be getting a lot more tutorial stuff going in the summer here. Actually, pretty soon, not really the summer, but between now and the summer. Okay, so if you do have elk, you can definitely use elk for the top wing. That is the traditional fur for it. I like using the whitetail because I just have a lot more of it and access to it. The elk is a little stiffer. It doesn't flare as much, but it'll give you that really nice kind of caddis wing is what we're looking for. The whitetail will do the same. It just takes a lot more finesse with your thread tension. Like, a lot more. That's all good, man. That's what we're here for. There is no wrong way to do any of this stuff. That's the nice thing about this. It's like a lot of other artwork, right? Like, no one can really tell you that your art's wrong. Like, for instance, I'm using whitetail here. It is a lot harder to tie with because it's just way poofier. And it floats like a cork. And it's soft. so it won't last quite as well as the elk will, as far as how many hits you get on it. But the nice thing about using whitetail for the wing here is it doesn't matter. Like the more that this wing gets nattered up from the fish, the better this pattern works. So it don't matter. But you know, if you're catching fishermen and not the fish, then the elk hair will look a little nicer. So, and we got all that. You can see the tips are all over the place, but they have that really nice straw color. So we're gonna line those tips up with a hair stacker, and then get a wing built up here. I do have a number of nice elk pelts, but I just save them for different things. No worries, mate. Always good to have you in. We need to find a night where we can tie together. I'm normally just so exhausted on the weekends with working and everything, but when you're not dueling with Dad one night, maybe we'll jump in together. Well, it's mostly, you got a little bit of separation on the bottom there, but the rest of it came in okay. Let's see how we can clean that out. Yeah, thankfully they let us watch YouTube while I'm working, but most of the time I'm too busy to pay attention too much or definitely comment. But I do like to try to catch up on some streams while I'm working. Okay, I'm gonna be packing this like we were saying before, like a snowball. I don't use Discord, mate, but I'll hit you up by email. I haven't tried any of those the collaboration streams yet, but I'd like to. I'm not sure how well it'll work with OBS and everything, but might have to just go with the straight YouTube stream software. But we'll figure it out, man. Okay, so I like to line this up. So basically, there's a little fluff still in there. So I want to line this up like right in the middle of the tail here. There we go. And I'm not worried about the broken ones. As soon as I say that, I start seeing like 3 or 4. There we go. That's the only one I'm going to worry about. So we want to line that up right in the middle of the tail there. Oh, actually I need to get my thread. I'm going to let this lined up first here. Right there, okay. I need to get my thread back to its tying point. So I want to tie this right where the body ends. And try not to interrupt the hackle. So right there. One more. There we go. Okay, so we'll get this lined up again. I'm going to pin this with my fingers. There we go. Okay, and same thing as the tail. We're going to do soft wraps. We're trying to keep this on top. So soft wrap down. The most important thing is that we're getting our thread lined up with where the soft wrap started. Oh, it's all good. I just don't use Discord. I had some issues with it back in my gaming days, and it's just left a bad taste in my mouth, so I just don't use it. No offense to those that do, though. Feel free. Just not something I do. There's so many other ways to communicate. I'm just not doing that one. Sometimes it kicks me in the butt, but most of the time I'm fine with it. Okay, so we got those 2 soft wraps in. Now I'm just going to do some medium wraps. I'm going to be pinching it so it doesn't move around. One spot on my thumb that the thread keeps catching on, which is really annoying. Now you hate that when you're tying something in like that and it catches on some dry skin or something. Super annoying. Okay, I'm gonna walk this back now to original wrap. Just light to medium wraps like we're doing before because we don't want to flare this guy out too much. Just light wraps. And we should have a section there about yay big, so 2 or 3 bobbin widths. There we go. Yeah, that laid in there rather nice. Alright, yeah, that worked out well. I'm happy with that placement. That went pretty good on both sides. Okay, now this is barely tied in, so I gotta be careful with it. Like I said, just medium wraps. Yeah, I'm just looking for my nail file here. It's just annoying because I thought I got rid of it last night, and it just seems to keep coming back. Just give me a sec, guys. I'll get rid of that. Can't find my good nail file here. This one will work for now. It's just like right in the, and it was always like right in the wrong spot, right? There we go. That'll hopefully do. But it always seems to be right on that spot where you need your thread to slide on your finger and then it catches, like always. There we go. Okay, so we're going to cut this off now. I'm going to use my curved scissors, but it really don't matter any. And I'm just being really careful not to change the direction of this wing because it's, like I said, barely tied in there. So I'm just going to gently work this up. I like to do this while it's barely tied in. Because 1, I like to live on the edge. And 2, if it does decide to move, then I can fix that. Right. I got a little static build up here. It keeps wanting to track to the other one. Now the other option you can do is you can tie this in place with some hard wraps and then come in and do this, and then you can really pull back on this and get a nice clean cut. But the downside is if anything moves at that point, you're not going to be able to adjust it. Oh, there goes my thread. Wonderful. I really thought I was far enough away from that bugger. Okay, that's fine. Probably the worst part is that it fell into my trash can full of deer hair. Let's see what it looks like when it comes back out. And that's probably like one of the worst times you can cut your thread because, like I said, I barely have that held on. That's not that bad. Okay, let's get this fixed up. I'm not sure how I cut that, to be honest. I was on top and the thread was on the bottom, but in either case, looks like the tag end's right there. Wrap first. There's the tag end. So we'll leave that tied in there for now. That's okay. We can do this here, and then I was going to do hard wraps up to cover all that thread anyway. So we'll recover from this without much trouble. Yeah, I haven't actually cut my thread like that in a good bit, but it happens to everyone. Not a big deal. As long as you recover from it, that's the main point. Okay, now we're going to bind all that down. I'm going to be holding this wing in. This is going to be a little bit more annoying because I'm going to have to, well, maybe I can tie this off here. 1 second. Yeah, I think I can. We'll tie this little stub off. There, that'll do. Saved it. As long as there's only one cut point, I think we're good. Alright, I'm going to pin that back here. I got a couple little spots on top, and it looks like I either nicked or they broke, one of the two. Look at those guys. I'm being way too finicky with this, like it's supposed to be a messy fly. If you're tying this for your own box, man, just go at it. And now I'm doing hard wraps all the way up to just before where our old wraps were, and then I'm gonna do soft wraps to keep that the right amount of flare, and then softer and softer as we work up. The main thing I want to work on building up here is not too much of a curve down. So we want to have a nice soft ramp going down towards that eye. So our material and our hackle is not going to there. That's a lot thicker than I would normally do, but we broke our thread and I had to recover, so we'll make do. Bink. There. Still happy with it. Still good. Looks better on my side though. Looks like I moved these guys a bit with my thumb. That's fine. We'll fix them up. There we go. Still purty. Still purty. Okay. Now for the head, we're going to be tying in this really nice. This is a vintage orange, what they used to call star-dusted yarn. Yep. Just like Mr. Dusted. I don't think he's in the chat today, but yeah, this is Stardust yarn. It was the original before they had the really nice UV antrons and things like that. This was its precursor, and I really like it for wherever I can get my. Actually, before I tie this in, I'm going to tie in the hackle. You can do it either way, but I'm going to tie the hackle in first. We don't need a lot. We're going to need like 3 or 4 turns, but I'm going to just find that where the web is. So if you're pulling down on your hackle, you can see where it comes out. It's going like horizontal here, and then it'll start pointing back up. So right in here, that's where the web is not as strong. So we'll grab it right there. That'll be your cutoff point. We'll save those other ones for nymph legs and such. And this is going to be our hackle for the top. We're using a grizzly. The traditional pattern, as far as I can tell, was just complete grizzly all the way through. It's been pretty common for people to be using the red on the body and the grizzly up front. But yeah, mix it up, whatever you think's best for your area and whatever you have access to too. If you don't have any, just use grizzly for the whole thing. Or say if your grizzly cape is a nicer cape and you got longer fibers on your grizzly, use that for the body. Use the red for the head. Or grizzly for the whole thing, don't matter. Or red for the whole thing, for that matter. Okay, so we got that tied in. Not going to pull it out yet, just so I got it out of the way. We'll tie in our orange now. Now obviously you could just not even bother with the orange here, and you could just use this orange thread, which is really close to the same color. It just doesn't have that UV. No worries, mate. We'll be waiting for you. I got that tied in, and I'm just going to do a light wrap all the way around, kind of touching turns, because we're just filling this in. I want to stop just before the head, so here's probably fine. And doing this will do a few things. It'll add that UV for the head, which will cause the head to just pop in the light with that marigold as well. Those two colors will just shine when it's in the UV of the sunshine. And it'll add a little bit of, you can do dubbing too. Like this is just a faster way than dubbing. But I have that same stuff done up in a dubbing. If you want to do dubbing, yeah, you can do that too. But it adds a little bit of a soft bed. And you can see these UV fibers that are mixed in here with it. There we go. It adds a soft bed for the hackle to bite into as you're wrapping. Gives you a much nicer, cleaner wrapped head. Generally, anyway. Okay, and I'm going to turn this sideways again so you guys can see, and we'll bend this back. And like I said, just gently, but you'll get the feel for it after you do this a while. And it's not necessary at all because you get a nice 90 degrees. So if you don't do that and you're wrapping it with it facing this way, you'll end up with a real hard kink right in that location there, and you'll normally end up with like a bump where your hackle starts. And sometimes that means nothing and won't cause you any problems, but other times, if you have other material that's going over top of it or close to it, or you're trying to finish it off and it's by your head, that lump can actually cause some issues with getting all your material in there nice. So that's a good habit to get into. It's not required at all, just a little tip. And again, I'm going to try and turn this guy just a hair here. Our first wrap, we want to do a full wrap right up against that thread line, so we're actually on top of the wing. There we go. And again, we want to do open spiral, so we don't want to make this a super bushy head. We want that color to show through. So about a bodkin width in between each wrap, which normally gives you about 2 to 3 wraps, give or take. And I like to finish off on my side because I can see better. Normally I would have moved my thread up. I should have moved my thread up closer to where my tie-off point is going to be. So I'll attempt to do that now without disturbing it too much. You'll get a cleaner tie-off that way. No worries, cavefish. That takes it's just practice, man. It's just a lot of beating myself back and reminding myself all the time that I need more room in the head. I need more room in the head. But yeah, I mean that's a super common, not just for new tires, but for a lot of tires. That's a super common issue is to crowding the head, and it's always a bit of a challenge. And especially when you're having a fly like this where you want, it's got such a large, this is technically, a lot of this is head, right? It's with this type of caddis fly, they have such a big bulbous thorax head, almost like a linebacker, it's just such a big strong bug up front. And this is almost all head technically. So it's hard to differentiate that and still have a head in there without all this, because everything we're tying in here is on an angle. Right, so it all wants to slide forward from that wing. So the biggest thing is that keeping this, once you get the wing tied in and all those other things tied in, again, they all want to make that slope going towards the eye, so it's a constant battle with that. But the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you're doing your best to level those off and to create those flat, or as flat as you can spots. You still want that angle. But if you don't do those, if you don't level it off enough, yeah, everything just keeps sliding forward, and it's even if you're trying it, you end up crowding the head, and I still do. From time to time, something slips a bit or whatever, and you're talking just millimeters there, right? So it really don't take a whole lot. But I appreciate the comment, man. I know it's a struggle. But a couple tips I can give on that, because I know it's a ongoing struggle for many, is when you're tying in, like for this one specifically, I tie in at the third mark, because for me it's more important to make sure that this whole wing doesn't push forward, so I have enough room to make that head. But in a similar scenario, if you're tying in your thread and you're tying in by the head, always give yourself, maybe a little thicker than a bobbin, so like maybe this thickness from the head when you're tying in, so you give yourself that extra room. And then you'll be a lot stressed. No, you're not alone. Not at all. Not at all. And yeah, it will always want to slide forward, and it's like a constant battle. There's nothing you're doing wrong. It's just learning these little tiny techniques. And I do bring them up over and over, and hopefully I'm not being like a broken record for some people. But the reason I bring them up over and over is we get new people coming in, and that kind of thing, and it's important to remind ourselves to do them over and over too, right? And after you do something 1,000 times, I have to also remind myself that, oh, there we go. I'm just gonna throw a regular, smaller half hitch in front of it here. Then we'll get our whip fishes in. I have to remind myself all the struggles that I had, and still do have, but had more when I was learning. There's these like 3 fibers right here that just don't want to play ball, and I want them to stay. I want you to be part of the fly. Don't make me cut you out. You guys can't see them because they're sticking on my side, but you can see those right here. These little boogers. I'm gonna try and whip finish them back, because I don't want to cut them out because I want them to be there. So I'm gonna attempt to whip finish them and just push them back with a whip finish. That might not work. Okay, I'm gonna do a half hitch and push it back with a half hitch. This is the benefit of having like several half hitches handy, where you can get one, and you can see here they're moving right there, those ones there. I'm gonna just push this just a bit and then pin them down. Try and get the half hitch right on top of them. There we go. There, now they're part of the fly, and I don't have to cut them off. Main reason I don't want to cut them off is those are the ones that were attached to the end of the rachis where we finished. So they're also acting as an anchor for the rest of it. If I cut them off, I'm technically weakening that whole structure. A very minor point, but if I can keep them in, I'd rather. Okay, so let's do... Where'd my whip finish go? There we go. We're gonna whip finish this. There you go, David. That's my interpretation of a big old messy island booger fly as a stimulator. I love the challenge of tying bait fish patterns. I just don't get the chance really to fish them here, but they're so much fun to tie. So once we get into season here and I get up to that part in my books and stuff, I'm gonna do some pretty cool bait fish patterns, because that's more like the art style for me. I know I'm not probably gonna fish them. There's certain areas in the rivers where I could, especially for like the larger whitefish and stuff, and Gerards will take them too, but I don't normally fish for those. But it's still good to have a couple in your box, right? Okay, so that's good. We got that tied off. We'll get this thread off, and I get this magic moment where I get to watch this head change color, which I thoroughly enjoy every time. Now, if we did everything right, this will change to a really nice burnt orange color with that head cement. Sorry, I just got 1 or 2 little guys there. Not going to make any difference, but I want to clean them off. Okay, head cement. There we go. And this will soak in and you guys can see the color change here. And obviously there's no color to this, it's clear, but what's happening is the acetone's reacting with the wax and melting the wax into the thread. So the wax is on the outside of the thread when it's manufactured. This will allow it to soak right into all those thread wraps too and give us a really nice tight finish on it. Don't feel like I'm getting enough on that backside. I'll put just a whiff of Sally Hansen's on top. There we go. Now, a lot of people won't put any head cement at all on their dry flies and stimulators because they're too worried about it wicking up, which is a concern. Wicking up into the hackle, you don't want that. It'll kind of wreck your hackle. But there we go. Other than the little bit of deer hair kind of going cattywampus on us on this side. That's a pretty good little stimulator. I'm happy with him. The rooster's going nuts out there. I think he wants to be fed. Either that or he's mad at the blue jays. Sometimes they get in there and steal some food. Okay, we're just gonna lightly dab this guy. There we go. I got a little bit on the eye there. I'm going to clean out with the... I was being careful, but it always seems to happen occasionally. Not a worry, though. We just need to get it out with some leftover junk we got on the tying desk. Most of the time, I'll use a quill or a racus from a hackle. But in this case, I'm just going to use a little piece of peacock. Because it's fuzzy, and as soon as my eyeballs will let me see the hole here. Okay, or not. Maybe it's starting to set up faster than I thought it was going to. Let's get that open. It is fast dry nail polish, which I normally use the regular nail polish, but where's my racus? There. I always keep a couple of these guys. I like these short curved fat ones from like the side of the hackle or side of the cape, because they get thick rather quickly and they'll grab all that glue and just pull it out of there. Or if you're just poking it with your bodkin like I did earlier, it'll just move it to the side and it'll still be kind of stuck on the top of your hook and make it look a little ugly. But this way it'll clean it off rather nice. And there we go. Got a nice autumn colored stimulator. Again, you can tie these in so many different variations and colors. I personally prefer these yellow and orange, but you can go like olive green to dark green head. You can go orange to red is another really good one actually for brook trout, like orange body, red head. In that case, I use like almost like a pinky red, then more than like the blood red, almost like the color of her head there. And then if I'm doing like a really darker red body, I find that the grizzly hackle actually stands out better. So in that case, I would use the grizzly hackle for the whole length of the body and the head. Just stands out, in my opinion, stands out better on the red or oranger body, because the red rooster hackle kind of will just disappear into that. But it's all personal preference. There's no that I've run into any fly tying police out there. Alright, so we'll do our little spin and spiel here. Again, thanks for the donation, Doug. If you're still with us, I do thoroughly appreciate that. And the device today, we have a Stimulator. This one's tied up with a mule deer tail and a white tail wing and a yellow, really nice yellow kind of Antron polyester yarn body in like a marigold yellow color with some nice red hackle all the way up, palmered up, and a little bit of copper wire holding that in place with a cross wrap, and some grizzly hackle up front over top of some nice burnt orange yarn that has some UV mixed in with it, and a nice little rust red head, uni rust brown. Wonderful little pattern. You can tie these up in different sizes, styles, colorations, and they work so well. They're a fun fly to fish too because they're so big and they get hit really hard when the fish take them. So I definitely want to have a couple of these in your box. Wonderful little pattern. Thanks, eh? Okay, he's gonna go in the box with the other one. Let's get the audio back on. As soon as I figure out where I put him, there he is. So we got one more to go to fill this box up. Boop. Thank you. There we go. He can go hang out with his friends in there. One more and they'll be a happy little family ready to find a new home. My deer hair container is actually getting rather full. Not packed down, but it's pretty packed down. So that means I'm gonna have to tie some muddlers or some other fuzzy head caddis nymphs or something. Those serendipities were actually pretty cool too. I enjoyed tying those. I should do up some more of those. They're fun and fast. Okay, so we'll switch back to the buck or the mule deer. Thank you. I wish they were a little thinner. These ones here, I like these boxes better for the dry flies and stuff because they're quite a bit thicker in that they don't crush the hackle as bad. But unfortunately, they're just a hair too thick to ship in oversized letter mail, so they have to be shipped as parcel. Where these ones are the perfect thickness for shipping oversized letter mail. It's basically about, you got the thickness of roughly like a DVD case. So these ones work much better for like your nymphs and that sort of thing. We got some stoneflies there and some partridge and oranges and these wonderful leeches that we tied that are eating up like the whole box. I really should have moved those out to a different box and just had them by themselves. I could put a lot more nymphs in there. Either way, it's all good. That was more just for holding them than anything. Okay, let's get one more going here. So we're going to be tying this on a size 6 long shank hook, Aberdeen hook with a straight eye. For most of my flies, I actually prefer a straight eye. The down eyes work okay for nymphs and such, but I find for the majority of flies that I'm going to be stripping, I like to have a straight eye on it. You can also have like a loop knot on that so that it's not bouncing around as much and you have a little more control over it. That'll do. Getting lots of deer hair and stuff stuck to me. Okay, let's get this thread going. So I'm going to do a little bit less explanation on this one because we've already explained the whole thing on the first one, and I'll just do a little more tying, a little less explanation. But I'm perfectly free to yabber, so if anyone has any comments, questions, concerns, accusations, feel free to shoot them out. Hey, Maddie, good to have you in, man. Just doing up some stimulators. I like that last set you did. Man, you've been catching some nice fish. Is that like a small kind of like tributary kind of stream thing? I can't really tell from your shorts you were posting where you were getting those fish, Maddie, because they're beautiful fish. They have like a really nice, like, they're a different color than my trout here. They have a really nice, like, aqua kind of olive color to them. Like, it reminds me almost like steelhead, like the top of them, eh? Reminds me a lot of steelhead, actually. They're almost like chromies. Okay. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, I'm really enjoying his little shorts there. Now look at my thread just spinning like crazy there. Welcome in, Luca. Okay, so roughly again, that's a bad example, but flattened out, we're looking for the hook gap, like that. So about 1/8 of a pencil. And this is the mule deer. I'm pretty sure this is mule deer belly, but I don't have any way of knowing. It's just long, so I'm assuming it's belly hair. Because the mule deer body hair is a lot thinner. Whose eyes did I comment? Oh, it was oh, good, good. Yeah, I'm enjoying your shorts, man. Yeah, if you guys haven't subscribed to Maddie, you guys should be doing that. I don't know what you're doing if you're not subscribed to him. He's a good time and got some awesome fish. You should really sub to him. Whose short did I just comment on about eyes? I think it was actually K-Fish's. Because like his jig eyes, like they look so surprised. They're like, wee! You know, like just someone just came around the corner and went, hey! So I was saying he should like paint some little eyebrows on him or something. So the lure doesn't look as surprised. Okay, so there we go. Not all lined up yet, so we're gonna line that up. There you go. That could be a whole new industry. Fishing eyeball eyebrows. There you go. Patent it. Run with it. The whole like sales pitch can be like, add expression to your fly patterns. You have like angry eyebrows and surprised eyebrows. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Luca's recent post, oddly enough. Or did I? Got a lot of broken. Yeah, I like it when people do that. There we go. Hey, thanks, Maddie. I appreciate that, man. I already met my little tiny sub goal of 1, or not sub goal, my donation goal. Oh, was it? Okay, maybe it was your jig then. Maybe I did see your eyes then. Thanks, Maddie. I thoroughly appreciate that, man. I know you work hard for your bones, and me and my family do appreciate the donations very much. Don't mind me, guys, there's a lot more broken hairs in here than I thought there was. Just trying to pull them all out. Alright, there we go. Whew, that was a lot of broken tips. It doesn't really matter. I mean, you can leave your broken tips in. I just want to make it pretty. And it does help them to flare out a little better, because the broken tips don't have the same taper on them. Yeah, you can totally use googly eyes on jigs. The biggest thing is just making sure you got them adhered in there nice, so like, you know, use a little super glue or UV resin. Super glue probably work better. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it was Luke. It must have been Luca's thing I commented on. I thought it was just like, they were like, boing, like way out there. Which I think is hilarious, because the eyes are honestly more for the fishermen than they are for the fish, right? Yeah, I do appreciate that, Manny. Thank you kindly, man. If anyone's watching the stream and they're liking what they're seeing, you can drop a like. If you want to see more of this kind of stuff, you can do a sub. It doesn't cost you anything. We're here almost every day. And we got an awesome little community, so if you want to join that, feel free. I'd love to have you on board. Okay, I'm just going to gently let go of this and move my thumbs up. I'm just lightly wrapping this all the way along until we get to our original tie-off point where I can cut it. And my main goal is to have it, I don't much care about the flaring, but I don't want it twisting. Yeah, no kidding, that's what I mean. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing the fisherman thing, right? Now a little bit farther on that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's still twisting. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and then forward again, so I'm gonna do medium wraps on my way back. I don't want it to twist. That will hopefully stop it from twisting. And then we'll trim it off. Cool, mate. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's a good old bushy little tail. I like to have it straight up and like that, so that worked well. This is a messy mess here, but it always will be. Alright, so now we're going to cut this off. This is just barely wrapped up, so I do have to be careful not to put too much tension on here. Yeah, you guys check out Maddie's stream when he's going to be live in an hour here. It's a good time. Yeah, I think that's more of a practice thing. I mean, there's probably some kind of jigs or techniques you could do. There we go. There's probably some techniques and like jigs you could set up to do it more consistently, but I think a lot of it's really just going to be practice. Yeah, that's true. Maddie was tying stimulators not too long ago. Yeah, I like mine to have a fluffy... I like two things with my tails for these guys. I like them to be in line with the hook shank and then up instead of being sunken down. And I tie my stimulator tails like quite a bit heavier than a lot of people do. I like to have that pulsation in the water, have it move a little more. But that's personal preference. You do you. There's no wrong or right way to do that. I'm just going to be cutting into here a couple times and then binding this right down. And now we're going to be using hard wraps going back. to secure this all in. And going over our old thread wraps and binding those all down. Well, the internet's never wrong, so they have to look fine. Thankfully, there's no right or wrong way to do it, right? You're gonna get people telling you there is, but there really isn't. Okay, so I know it looks a little messy, but our main goal here when we're wrapping this back is we don't want to change this tension from these loose wraps that are holding this up. If we tighten this down right here, this is gonna just compress or flare, depending on how fast you go about tightening it. So we want to keep those loose, and we want to kind of slowly build our tension up to that. And I'm going to bring it back. I'm about 2 or 3 wraps from that barb, so I got about 3 or 4 wraps to kind of make that change. So, yeah, I got about 3 or 4 wraps up here to make that correct. That should do it. There we go. Now if my wraps are too tight there, this part will flare too much and it'll just poof up. If they're too loose, then it won't have any flare at all, and it'll just bind it down together. So that's pretty much exactly the way I like it, where it's just a nice little poof out the back, but it's on top of the shank, and it's kind of straight out the back and poofing up. Oh, aren't we all, man? But it's nice that you can, you know, at the end of the day, you can just let it go. Okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to check that out, Yoshi. I'll have to check that out. I like seeing new tie material. Yeah, here's a good example. So I dropped this, obviously by mistake, but you can see it's not unspooling this at all, right? If I did this, you can see it's completely loose. It's not in the thing. If I did that with, and that's because it's a now. Oh, come on, brain, make the word. It's the hardness, the bleh. It'll come to me. The hardness of the copper, or how much it's tempered, is extremely soft, and it'll hold its form. Where if I do that with, yeah, our brains are all broken in the same way, to be honest. I'm saying it nicely. There, and I put a little bit of notches in there with the hemostats. That'll help it hold in. It's probably not super necessary because I'm going to be tying this in like half the shank length. But it does definitely stop it from pulling out. I don't want to interrupt my tail. Everything seems good. Okay. But yeah, if I do that same thing, where'd the UTC go? Part of me doesn't want to do this because I know it's going to be a mess, but I'll do this as an example for you guys. I think what it is we all have something in our mind that we're trying to capture, right? Or recreate. Now if I do this with this UTC wire, which is kind of the closest... Oh, come on, don't be a bugger, just come out of the thing. I obviously overwrapped it on top here because I was probably upset at it unwrapping at one point. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna hold my finger on this so it's not gonna go too far. If I let go of this wire, there, that's as far as I want to go because I don't want to clean up a mess. But you can see how this whole thing is gonna let go, right? Like it's gonna go spring like a big spring. That's because this is tempered and it has a memory and it's trying to get back to its original memory, which was straight when it was tempered, as it was coming off the rollers. So this one is not soft copper. Now this will still work fine for a lot of stuff that you're doing on your flies, but having it tempered like this one, you're always fighting that it wants to return back to straight, so you're always fighting that, and this will work hard and twice as fast because it's already tempered. So if you can find soft copper, yeah, I mean that's it, man. That's all that matters. They catch that's the whole point, right? To make yourself happy and catch the fish. That's the only two things. That's very true. I mean, you find that with a lot of historical geniuses, I will say, I guess. Because those guys obviously were when it came to music. And we're going to tie in this marigold. Trying to use up this last batch here. There we go. Makes my brain itch. That's an excellent way to describe it. That's an absolutely excellent way to describe it. Yeah. Hey, good for you, man. I need to start that up. I'm just ending up with way too many on my bench here. I need to start selling some. I know they'd be happier out in the world actually doing what they were supposed to do, which is catch fish, than sitting in a box not doing anything. Okay, I'm just going to catch this off twice here. Again, this is an old school, this is a rugging yarn, so it's a poly, it's a type of poly yarn. But it's super durable stuff. That's why they use it for rugs. It has just enough kind of wispy flare. Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to start back up my Etsy again, or if I'm going to bother, or just jump right to a Really? That was a cool jig, though. Cindy would have really liked that, I'm sure. That's cool. Okay, I need... apparently I didn't... Did I? Huh. I thought I had another grizzly hackle here. I don't, so 1 second. I'll grab another. I'll probably find it as soon as I tie this one in. Well, that's okay. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, if I'm tying for like sales and production stuff, I'm going to be doing something kind of completely a little different than this because, you know, one fly every 20 minutes to an hour is not enough. But this is for enjoyment and educational purposes. We are not on the clock. Okay, just prepping this. Gonna pull off a little bit more off the top and the bottom. And for this one, I'm gonna crunch the rake a bit because it just seems like it's a bit slippy. There we go. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Let's get... That's why I had one, because I was looking for a grizzly and I had my red one right here. Okay, well, whatever, we got it. Oh, cool. Well, good luck to you in Villa, man. I know both of you guys put the work in. This one's kind of hard to tell where the web stops on it. See, it's kind of like right in here. Yeah, that's gonna be a learning curve for me, is the whole business end of it. It's like when we got our chickens, I started, selling some of the extra eggs because we had just way more eggs than we could possibly eat. And it was crazy the amount of like complaints I got about my chicken eggs. And it's like, they're perfectly fine. Go away. Yeah, that's kind of one of the annoying things about the live streams is you don't have a lot of control over what people are saying. Supreme hair, eh? What's it look like, or what is it, like synthetic? Hey Villa, good to have you in, man. Sorry if I missed you there. I'm just gonna get this one to behave for the first wrap. There we go. I'm gonna get that first wrap right on the edge of that thread body. Oh! Okay, I'll definitely have to check that out, man. Do you know what time you're gonna go live, Grib with Jake, or I'll grab the VOD after? One thing I picked up that I've tied with before, that I haven't tied with in a long time, is those fake hair extensions that you can get. You can get them in different colors and whatever, but they make a really interesting synthetic hair that's still a lot like real hair. Okay, I'm just going to be wrapping that copper in now to hold all that in place. I like Showfly's hands. Yeah, I think they make great like baitfish pattern because it's like very similar to craft fur almost. feel like I'm really mucking up this hackle more than normal, but it is what it is. Could just be my imagination. Dude. I just got the slight wrong angle on it or something, because it really seems to be pushing the hackle everywhere. It's okay, it's supposed to be a messy fly. Yoshi! I really like tying ants too, they're fun. You can get them, like, some of them are a little shinier, some of them are duller. The ones that I found were actually from, like, they're actual hair extensions, but they were, like, from around Halloween time, so they're actually like a moss kind of olive green. So they were actually not too bad. But it seems to be the closer you go to the black, glossy black, the closer they get to being slippy. Now, if you go more of the natural colors, they seem to be a little bit more on the dull side and a little grippier. Okay, so that copper's good. I got a couple little hairs I tied in here. Just gonna zap those. Pink. There you go. Yeah, I got quite the crew in today. Just getting all these loose ones out of here. Really? Horsehair? That would be cool. Those must be older then. I don't know if they still do. I don't know if they still do horsehair for extensions and stuff, since the synthetics have come so long, right? Or come along so far. Alright, I got that tied in. Now we're going to move on to the wing, which is going to be our whitetail. Again, we got this beautiful straw color tips. Yeah, that's very true. It's kind of a spin your roulette wheel. I know with salmon flies, I used to use a lot of horsehair for different things, so that'd be cool. I just see some, like, poor broke fly tire just on the city bus somewhere clipping the back of some lady's fake fake hair extensions. Yeah, if you don't mind the slipperiness, there's plenty of okay, I kind of figured they'd be pretty old, so I was like, oh, I don't think they've been doing horsehair extensions for quite some time. Mine were yesterday, and I don't know why my eyes were just watering. That's cool. Well, if I ever seen any of those, I would definitely grab them. They used to use the horsetail hair for and mane, I guess, for fly line tippets and that, right? Ha, there you go. Well, you just need a hair stacker for your beard hair. That'll be fine. Come on out. Come on out. Come on, man. Yeah, I think I was one of the first ones to have a goatee in my grade 2. Okay, so there's our tail, our wing. Got this really nice straw color up top. I like that. Dude, that happened to one of my friends. I felt bad for him. He was completely bald by like 25, I think. Okay, I'm just gonna move my thread up here. I made that mistake last time, forgot. Moving it up here, a couple wraps, secure it. We'll get this tied in. Okay, so right about there. I bet it would work fine. I mean, like if you're just going after regular sized trout, I bet horsehair would actually work quite well. That's like a badge of honor, man. My beard's getting all peppered pretty quick here. Oddly enough, I used to get more grays on like the side of my head and everything, like around the temples and whatnot, and that kind of stopped, and my beard's getting grayer. Okay, where's the head? Back that off a little bit. Do it right here. There you go. That's a good question. How old am I? 43 now? How old am I, dear? 43. Her wife says 43, so she's not gonna lie. Kind of stopped counting around 40. It was like, oh, well, don't matter now. There you go. I'm 43. Okay, so that's just barely tied in like the last one. I got a lot of movement in it still. So I'm just going to be very gentle and cut this out. Yeah, 1 minute while I check my ID. There you go. That all hits us different, man. I look like I'm like 18 if I don't have a beard. So the wife goes, I used to donate my hair every year for cancer. Um, and my son started doing it too. But they stopped taking donations around the time that COVID came. Yeah, I used to like completely cut all my hair off and donate it for cancer every year. Or not every year because it takes a little more than a year to grow it out long enough. But they stopped taking donations for it after COVID because a lot of the synthetic fibers are good enough now that they just make wigs out of the synthetics, and not very many people are asking for the real hair wigs. But I had so many family members, with battles with cancer and that sort of thing that I figures one small thing I could do is grow my hair out and donate it whenever it got long enough. And it would go right from being long like this to shaved. And I normally kind of shave my beard at the same time. So yeah, if I did have problems like that, I'd just probably shave it because I've done it so many times. But I don't, so I'm not going to. But I fully appreciate all the people that have to deal with there you go. No, when I used to shave my, it's been a minute, but when I used to shave my head and beard off, I would get carded in at all the stores and stuff. It's like, dude, I'm like 40. But yeah, I look like a youngin' when I am a beard face, baby face. I swear my brain stopped at like 25 or something. I think everyone's brain age stops at a certain point where you just feel like you're getting more sore, you're not necessarily getting older. There we go. That's a nice little wing. Yeah, we got the whole gang in here today, which is great. Yeah, that's true. I do the same thing. I always have something going on in my headphones and it helps me. Okay, I got that tied in. Oh yeah, now we can tie in this guy that we got all prepped up. Yeah, I know. Can hear her giggle in the background. Yeah, me and the wife got married in Vegas during COVID because it was the only place we could go in like the whole world to get married, pretty much. Because all the municipality stuff was shut down everywhere. And it was wonderful, and I wouldn't change a thing. Right, dear? Yeah. There's a lot of people watching there. I'd like to go back to Vegas. It was actually it was a good time. My couple of regrets while we were there is they had that one famous pawn shop, and it was just closed while we were there. I was like, oh, it was like just closed for like whatever reason. But all the Uber drivers were great. Yeah, I got a speaker bot set up to read out comments. It's so much better for me. so that way I don't have to read the screen while I'm tying. I concentrate on tying. It was so hard to tie and try and keep a conversation going while trying to read the chat, so that's been like a complete game changer. Although it took me like 2.5 weeks to set the thing up properly. It was not an easy task. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. I love this yarn. This is just money. I wish I had more flies I could tie with this stuff. Love it. It's great. I even like just mixing in small amounts with it into like other dubbing that I do, even if it's not orange, just to give it that little flair. Oop. Okay, let's throw a little hackle plier on that because it's slippy. Yeah, that's the thing. Like it took me a while to get, and I'm not like a dummy when it comes to this kind of stuff, but there was so much to set up to get it to, because I wanted it to be local. I didn't want it to be like AI hosted or server hosted. I wanted it to run whether I had internet or not, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because obviously I wouldn't be streaming if I didn't have internet, but still wanted to have control of it and have everything on my side. Yeah, I'm using OBS. Ha ha! Yeah. I've been there. I bet there's a lot of walking there. It was a little bit off because when we were there, it was like right in the height of COVID. And like we had to walk to I don't know how many restaurants. We just wanted to get a steak. And we had to go like... Thank you. Yeah, it's a buggy little thing. But we just wanted to get a steak and we had to walk like for hours going from restaurant to restaurant and no one had any beef. So we ended up settling down for these massive big beef burgers at this one place because that's all we could find. And even like expensive restaurants, they're like, we can't guarantee that we'll have one for you. I'm like, what do you mean you can't guarantee you won't have a steak? But yeah, no, there was a big shortage at that point. Like, I just want a steak. But the burgers were awesome, I have to admit. They were really good. Okay. A couple flipping out front there. I'm just going to toast those. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get the bus things. I probably should have. The Ubers were cheap back then. That was before Uber like jacked their prices up ridiculously. The Ubers were like super cheap then. Yeah, I don't know if it was like the driving things or supply chain or what it was, but it's like I couldn't get a steak for the life of me. I was willing to pay like kind of whatever they wanted to charge me. But yeah, even in like the casinos, and we went to all the big expensive restaurants that had like lineups and everything to get in, and just asked all the door people and the like, do you guys have steak? No. Well, we do, but it's, you know, we only have so much, and I can't guarantee you that they will have any left by the time you get in. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Willis? But anyway, it was a weird time. There was lots of weird stuff going on though. I had a wonderful steak in Sedona when we were in Sedona. Big old like prime rib, just like proper done. Beautiful steak. But that was before all the crazy. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, our beef prices in Canada have just gone ridiculous. And I understand, I mean, feed and diesel and everything's gone up so much. That's pretty much what it was. Is like they could tell me that they had steak, but whether or not I would get the steak, and it's just like, ugh, come on. But yeah, they were probably keeping it for the people that were high rollers there, I'm sure. But yeah, to get like a decent steak here now, and again, this is Canucky. This is like Canucky stand pesos, right? But like, um, a decent steak, like not cooked, but just getting it at the grocery store here is like 48 to like 56 bucks. So you gotta really want a good steak to buy one here now. Chicken and pork and stuff's not so bad, but the beef prices are like, whoo. Yeah, I got some time off with pay too. A lot of people did. Nah, I got some in the eye there. I'll clean it out after. There, I got that nice burnt orange color coming out. I think like everything's gone up though, and it's causing the price of the beef to be so high. Everything from transport to processing to finishing. Um, like I said, like I live up in the bush, but there's lots of farmers around me, and I know they're not the ones getting it. Like a lot of them are just struggling just to make ends meet. So I know they're not the ones that are getting the profit. That's for sure. I think a lot of it ends up at the grocery store end of things. I think they're really kind of zagging a lot more profit than they should have been. Ever since COVID, they just haven't stopped. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. It's a good little stimulator. I worked at an airport at that time, so we did, but it was like the time that they gave us time off was like the least useful time. It was like after everything was blown up, where we were forced to work through the worst of it. It's like I would have much rather had the time off when it was like going rampant and everyone was getting sick. Because there was like, that's the one thing I learned about. One of the many things I learned about working there was people will lie about anything to get on a plane. Um, yeah, that's what I thought, Luca. That's how I feel about the local guys here too. Because I could buy a half cow from one of the farmers up here, or a pig. Like a couple times a year, they'll sell, local butchered stuff, and it's like, you gotta buy a lot more, but at least at that point, it's like a reasonable price. And I know that they're not getting. A lot of them are just kind of breaking even. With a lot of people up here, what's happened is the the property values have gone up so much that their taxes have just gone through the roof to the point that they can hardly pay the land taxes anymore. There's one property up not too far from us, but up behind us, and hers raised in 1 year went up like 2.3 million on her property, and she's just like, I don't even have a road into my property. You have to walk in. You know, she didn't have any electricity or nothing, and then she's like, nobody's gonna pay that for this place because people like to have an access road, and there's nothing there. Nice lady and all, but it's really kind of crazy the amount. Yeah, they're just sitting on it. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here too, is the rancher can't afford to pay the yep. That's very true. It's a lot like that. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little spin and spiel on this guy, and we'll call her good. And the vice today we have a Stimulator. This is tied on a size 6 long shank hook with some mule deer tail coming out the back end, and we have a white tail overwing coming up the top. The body is tied in a nice yellow marigold acrylic yarn with red hackle palmered all the way up the body length, with a little bit of copper wire chasing it up to hold it in place with a counter wrap. And we have some grizzly hackle up front just around the thorax area, and a nice red, burnt orange or rust uni head for the thread up there. Wonderful little pattern. You can tie this many different colors, variations, and sizes, all the way from 12 up to a 1 if you wanted to. 6 and 8s are kind of the most common. And it's a wonderful little pattern. You should definitely add a couple to your box, eh? Thanks kindly. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a break here, grab some lunch, and this one finishes off our box. Yeah, same with me. And I needed to get into the States. That's the other thing I had to go. Couldn't go across the border without it. There we go. Got 5 of them in there. 5 nice little stimulators. Ready to find a new home. Wonderful little buggers. Happy with that. Thanks for hanging out with me all. I thoroughly appreciate everyone. Yeah, I only got like, it was like 2 or 3 weeks off, and it was more not to do with us, but with someone else in the airport that we required to have there. I think it was a fireman or NavCam, one of those ones. They didn't care about us. They could care less if we got sick. But yeah, I think it was, I can't remember if it was NavCam or not. Yeah, later all. Thanks for hanging out. You guys all have a good one. Always a pleasure to have you all in here. Thanks for all the donations today. We had one from Maddie, and we had one from, what was the first one? Maddie and, oh, my thing doesn't scroll up that high. Thank you, appreciate it. You guys all have a good day. See you later.